Imagine a 13-year-old girl, heart pounding with pride, walking into a bank to open her first account. A small but thrilling step toward independence. Now picture her world collapsing as she's accused of theft, humiliated in front of strangers, and handcuffed, all because of the color of her skin. This is the story of Anita Thompson, a girl whose simple errand sparked a firestorm of justice that exposed deep-seated prejudice and unleashed a reckoning no one could have predicted. If you believe no one should be judged by their appearance, type "justice" in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. Stick around. You won't believe what happens next. On a radiant Tuesday afternoon, 13-year-old Anita Thompson stepped off a city bus in downtown Crestwood, her backpack bouncing with every eager step toward Unity Bank. Her dark curls framed a face glowing with determination, her school uniform crisp from Sterling Academy, where she maintained a flawless 4.0 GPA. Today wasn't just any day. It was the day she'd proved to her mother, Dr. Lena Thompson, that she was ready for the adult world. For weeks, Anita had prepared, researching checking accounts online, practicing her pitch to the bank teller, and clutching an envelope stuffed with $900 birthday cash from her grandmother and savings earned through chores and stellar report cards. To Anita, this was a fortune, a tangible symbol of her budding independence. To her family, it was a mere fraction of their unimaginable wealth. Anita lived in a sprawling mansion in Crestwood Heights, a gated enclave where manicured lawns stretched endlessly and luxury cars glided silently through the streets. Her days began with private tutors and ended with family dinners in a dining room that could seat 20. Yet, despite the opulence, Anita had no idea her family was worth billions. Her mother, Lena, had meticulously crafted a normal life for her daughter, shielding her from the truth of their empire, the Thompson financial dynasty. Lena, who grew up under the weight of her family's legacy, knew wealth could be both a blessing and a curse. She wanted Anita to value hard work, humility, and kindness before inheriting a fortune that could define her entire existence. Lena's own childhood had been a battlefield of scrutiny. As the heir to the Thompson banking empire, she'd faced paparazzi, judgmental peers, and adults who treated her like a commodity rather than a person. When Anita was born, Lena vowed to protect her daughter from that pressure. She used her married name, Thompson, in public, drove Anita to school in a modest SUV, and insisted she earn her allowance through chores. Anita shopped at regular stores, took the bus with her friends, and believed her family was simply comfortable. This illusion was no accident. It was Lena's shield against a world that could be cruel to those who stood out. Inside Unity Bank's gleaming lobby, the air buzzed with the hum of financial transactions. Business professionals in sharp suits darted between teller windows, while retirees lingered in the VIP lounge. Anita took a deep breath, straightened her uniform, and approached the customer service desk with a confidence born from a life where she'd always been treated with respect. The nameplate read, "Karen Reynolds, Branch Manager." Anita's smile was bright, her voice steady. "Good afternoon, ma'am. I'd like to open a checking account. I brought my ID and $900 to deposit." Karen's eyes narrowed, her welcoming facade vanishing as she took in Anita's brown skin and youthful enthusiasm. "What do you want?" she snapped, her tone laced with disdain. "A kid like you with that kind of cash. Where'd you steal it from?" Anita's smile faltered, her heart lurching as if she'd been slapped. "Steal? No, ma'am, this is my birthday money from my grandma and savings from my allowance. I go to Sterling Academy. I have all my documents right here." Her hands trembled slightly as she slid her school ID, birth certificate, and savings account statements across the counter, each document carefully organized in a folder she'd prepared the night before. Karen barely glanced at the papers, her lips curling into a sneer. "Kids like you don't walk around with this much money. I'm calling security. You're not fooling anyone with this act." She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a venomous whisper. "I know exactly where girls like you come from, and it's not fancy schools." Anita's chest tightened, confusion and hurt swirling in her mind. She'd never been spoken to like this. In her sheltered world, people were kind, fair, respectful. "Please, ma'am," she said, her voice cracking. Just call my mom, Lena Thompson. She banks here. She can explain everything." Karen laughed, a sharp, cruel sound that echoed in the lobby. "Nice try. I'm not falling for your sob story." She grabbed the phone with a flourish. "Yes, I need officers immediately. We've got a young thief trying to deposit stolen money." Anita's eyes filled with tears, her carefully rehearsed confidence crumbling. She fumbled for her phone, typing a desperate text to her mom. "Mom, I'm at Unity Bank. The manager called the police on me. She says I stole the money. I'm scared." She hit send just as Karen noticed and lunged for the phone. "Give me that," she barked, but the message was already racing across the city. What Karen didn't know was that she'd just lit the fuse on a bomb that would obliterate her career. Across town, in a gleaming 40-story skyscraper, Dr. Lena Thompson was about to become a force of nature no one could ignore. If you've ever been judged unfairly, drop your story in the comments. Let's start a conversation. You don't want to miss what's coming next. In a polished boardroom on the 42nd floor of Thompson Financial Dynasty's headquarters, Lena sat at the head of a mahogany table, surrounded by 5 executives discussing a $500 million acquisition. Known as Lena Thompson, she was a titan in finance, gracing the covers of Forbes and teaching case studies at Harvard Business School. But to Anita, she was just mom, attending PTA meetings, cheering at soccer games, and tucking her in at night. Lena had spent 13 years balancing this double life, using her married name, Thompson, to shield Anita from the spotlight of their $3 billion empire. Her phone buzzed, a special emergency alert from Anita that pierced through her Do Not Disturb settings. Lena's eyes scanned the text. "Mom, I'm at Unity Bank. The manager called the police on me. She says I stole the money. I'm scared." The room fell silent as Lena's face transformed, confusion morphing into shock, then into a cold, terrifying rage. The executives, used to her composed demeanor, leaned back instinctively. "This meeting is over," Lena said, her voice a low, lethal whisper. Someone at Unity Bank just made the gravest mistake of their life. She stood, her chair scraping against the floor, and grabbed her phone and keys. "James," she called to her driver as she strode toward the elevator. "Bring the car around. We're going to Unity Bank now." As Lena's Bentley sped through traffic, she made calls that would shift the course of history. First, to her attorney, Michael Lee, a legal shark whose name struck fear in courtrooms. Then to Victor James, her head of security and a former police captain with decades of connections. Finally, to Charles Bennett, chairman of Unity Bank's board, a family friend who knew the weight of the Thompson name. Each call was a chess move, positioning her pieces for a checkmate. Back at the bank, Anita's nightmare escalated. Officers Daniel Hayes and Sofia Ramirez stormed in, their faces set with preconceived judgment. "This girl's trying to deposit stolen money," Karen said smugly, pointing at Anita, whose tears now streamed freely. "She's got no proof it's hers." "I do have proof," Anita sobbed, shoving her documents toward the officers. Her school ID showed her smiling face, her birth certificate was laminated with care, and her savings account statements, from Unity Bank itself, detailed 3 years of deposits. "My mom banks here. Her name's Lena Thompson." Officer Hayes barely glanced at the papers. "We've seen kids like you before, always some story. Turn around, hands behind your back." The handcuffs clicked around Anita's wrists, the metallic sound reverberating like a gunshot. Customers gasped, some pulling out phones to record, but no one stepped forward. An elderly man muttered, "This ain't right," yet stayed silent, teaching Anita a brutal lesson. Injustice often thrives when good people do nothing. As the officers led her toward the door, Anita's mind raced. She'd always been taught that honesty and politeness would open any door. Now, she faced a world that judged her by her skin, not her character. Her hands shook in the cuffs, but her spirit held a flicker of hope. Her mom would come. She had to. 20 minutes later, a black Bentley with a license plate CFD001, Thompson Financial Dynasty, screeched to a halt outside Unity Bank. Dr. Lena Thompson stepped out, her tailored suit gleaming like armor, her understated jewelry screaming wealth. Flanked by Michael Lee, Victor James, and 2 additional security guards, she radiated power. Customers parted as she entered, the air crackling with anticipation. Lena marched to Karen's counter, her dark eyes locking onto the manager like a predator. "Release my daughter. Now." Karen scoffed, oblivious to the storm. "Look, lady, your daughter's a thief. The police have her." Lena slid a gold-embossed business card across the counter with surgical precision. "I'm Dr. Lena Thompson, Thompson Financial Dynasty. We don't just bank here, Karen. We own here." Karen's face paled as she read the card, the name Thompson hitting like a thunderbolt. "The girl's name is Thompson, not Thompson," she stammered. "Thompson is my maiden name. Thompson is my married name," Lena said, her voice colder than ice. "You just arrested the granddaughter of the man who founded this bank. Thompson Financial owns 60% of Unity Bank. Every paycheck you've cashed, every promotion you've celebrated, came from my family's money." The crowd gasped, employees emerging from offices, sensing a seismic shift. Michael Lee stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Ms. Reynolds, are you aware racial profiling is a federal crime?" Before Karen could respond, Charles Bennett, the bank's chairman, burst through the doors, breathless. "Lena, I came as soon as you called. Where's Anita? Your employee accused my 13-year-old daughter of theft and money laundering," Lena said, her voice cutting like glass. "She refused to verify her identity, ignored her documents, and had her arrested." Bennett turned to Karen, his face a mask of horror. "You did what?" Karen's voice shrank to a whisper. "I was following protocol for suspicious activity." She had no valid explanation. No explanation. Lena snapped, her composure cracking. "She showed you her ID, school records, and savings statements from this bank. What more did you need?" Bennett ordered the security footage pulled up. The monitor displayed Anita's polite approach, Karen's immediate hostility, and a months-long pattern of Karen scrutinizing minority customers with undue suspicion. Employees whispered, some horrified, others unsurprised, as the evidence of systemic bias unfolded. Bennett's voice was grim. "Ms. Reynolds, your employment is terminated. Security, escort her out." As Karen was led away, her face ashen, Lena addressed the crowd. "Racism isn't just wrong, it's a losing bet. This woman lost her career because she underestimated my daughter. Let this be a warning. Prejudice has a price." But the story wasn't over. Anita was still in a juvenile detention center, terrified and alone. And a new twist was about to unravel. What would you do if your child was wrongly arrested? Share in the comments because the next chapter will leave you stunned. As Karen's office was cleared out, family photos and awards dumped into cardboard boxes, whispers spread among the staff. A teller, Maria Lopez, approached Bennett quietly, her hands trembling. "Sir, there's something you need to know." Karen wasn't acting alone. She reported to a regional manager, Richard Holt, who encouraged her to flag suspicious urban types. "He's been pushing this for years." Bennett's eyes widened. A deeper conspiracy. He launched an immediate investigation into Holt, uncovering emails instructing managers to profile certain customers based on race and age. The revelation sent shockwaves through Unity Bank's corporate structure, threatening to topple more than just Karen's career. Meanwhile, Lena raced to the detention center, her heart pounding with guilt. Had her efforts to shield Anita left her vulnerable? At the center, Anita sat in a cold gray room, her wrists red from the cuffs, her eyes distant. When Lena burst in, Anita ran to her, sobbing. "Mom, why did they hate me? I didn't do anything wrong." Lena pulled her daughter close, her own tears falling. "Baby, that was racism, ugly, unfair, and wrong. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you." They drove home in silence, the weight of the day settling like fog. At a red light, Lena pulled over. "Anita, there's something you need to know about our family." Over 2 hours parked on a quiet street, Lena unveiled the truth. The Thompson financial dynasty, worth $3 billion, owned banks, real estate, and global investments. Their modest home was one of 8 properties. Anita's normal life was a carefully crafted illusion to protect her from the pressures Lena had faced as a child. "Why didn't you tell me?" Anita asked, her voice a mix of awe and betrayal. "I wanted you to grow up kind and humble, not defined by wealth," Lena said, her voice breaking. "But I see now I left you unprepared for the world's cruelty." Anita's pain ignited a fire. She dove into research, devouring books on civil rights, redlining, and banking discrimination. She learned how systems, not just individuals, perpetuated injustice. Within weeks, she and Lena launched the Thompson Family Foundation's Financial Freedom for All initiative, offering workshops, legal aid, and a hotline for kids facing unfair treatment. Anita became its voice, speaking at schools and community centers, her story inspiring thousands to share their own experiences of discrimination. The police officers faced their own reckoning. Officer Hayes's body camera revealed a pattern of targeting black suspects, while Officer Ramirez's use of force against minorities was disproportionate. Both were suspended, their cases sparking a citywide review of police practices. New protocols mandated thorough investigations before arrests, especially involving minors, and a civilian oversight board was established to address bias complaints. Unity Bank transformed too. Every employee underwent 40 hours of intensive bias training, with role-playing and real-world scenarios. Youth specialists were hired to guide young customers, and new policies ensured no minor could be refused service without documented cause and 2 managers' approval. The bank created teen-friendly materials, demystifying banking terms and outlining customer rights. Karen's downfall was total. The banking industry's tight network ensured her story spread, rendering her unemployable in finance. She took retail jobs, each shift a reminder of her lost career. Her name became a cautionary tale in bias training nationwide. Richard Holt, the regional manager, was fired after the investigation exposed his role. His emails cited in industry reports on systemic racism. 3 months later, Anita returned to Unity Bank to open her account. The staff, now trained to treat every customer with respect, greeted her warmly. The process took 5 minutes, complete with a youth-friendly welcome packet and a personal introduction to her account specialist. Anita wasn't just a billionaire's daughter anymore. She was a young activist with a mission. She insisted the same respect be shown to every young customer, regardless of background. In a final powerful moment, Lena returned to Unity Bank to address the staff in the lobby where Anita had been humiliated. "My grandfather built this bank on the belief that everyone deserves fair treatment," she said, her voice resonating. 3 generations later, my daughter was treated like a criminal by someone paid with our money. Respect isn't given, it's demanded. And we'll use our power to ensure no one else suffers like she did. Her speech, recorded by local news, went viral, shared millions of times as a call for justice. Anita's story became a beacon, showing that power, when used to uplift others, could change the world. This story isn't just about Anita. It's about every person who's been judged, dismissed, or mistreated because of who they are. It's a reminder that your voice matters, your story matters, and your actions can spark change. Don't let prejudice go unchallenged. Stand up, speak out, and use whatever power you have, big or small, to make the world fairer. Share your experiences in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep this conversation going. Together we can demand justice for all. Were Karen and the officer's punishments enough? Or should there have been more consequences? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more stories of justice.